so I wonder why. I feel pain when the rain fall from the sky. That's all my partner tears making heaven cry. Sent you a message when the pigeons fly. Goodbye, listen to the Reverend, reach about a legend 24/7. I'm missing you in my presence, you will never die. I wipe my eye while the quiet sing a lullaby. So some respect we ain't apply in a suit and tie. This was a lie, I can't deny. Sin is believing, I had to accept you no longer breathing. I bury you decent when I carry you reminiscing. Relive every memory is a reason. Different partner joining Jesus every season. Leaving me grieving in morning. Call home either evening, night, evening, or morning. And be gone with no warning. We born to feel leaving. This world is a blessing, no less than a curse. The pain never lasts, and I'm strong, but it hurt. Won't be the last time I visit my homie in the church. Touch a casket. Remember you laughing, dark glasses with a witness your hearse. Witness your bundle of flowers around a hole in the dirt. Witness your picture on the shirt, and I'm asking to witness many more days on this earth. What could be worse? I'll be the first in this fashion. Tell you with passion. How bad did it hurt? How bad did it hurt? How bad did it hurt to just breathe, breathe, breathe for all of my partners, for all of my partners. No, I haven't forgot you. No, I haven't forgot you. Breathe, breathe, breathe for all of my partners.
What's up, everybody? Ricochet coming back at you, man, with another vlog. Hope everybody have a blessed, wonderful, prosperous day. Today is Sunday, January 19th, man. I'm back in H-Town for about 3-4 days. My last little campaign that I ran, man, I did like 4-5 loads, and I was out this last time like 3 weeks, and I had an incident that happened, so we'll get into that here in a minute. But while that incident was getting taken care of, I decided to come home. You know, I hope everybody staying warm out there, man. I know it's really, really cold in some places, man. Here in Houston, man, I think I think the whole country finna get like a snowstorm, some cold weather, some severe weather over the next few days. Now, starting tomorrow is what I hear. I'm hearing rumors that it's gonna snow here in Houston. Now, ain't that something? You know, I think the last time we got snow, man, it was probably about 3-4 years ago here in Houston. So the city gonna be shut down for that piece. You know, we here in Texas, man, and down here in Houston, man, we don't fuck around and snow too much, man. They shut the highways down, everything. Of course, y'all know I'm over here at my happy place, man. I come over here and do my mile walk, mile or two. I'm finna do 2 miles. But yeah, I came over here, man. It's about 31 degrees out here today. But I had a few errands and stuff to run this morning, and I'm on the way back to the house. I stopped to get my little walk in before I go in the house. I ain't coming back out no more today. You know, maybe not till tomorrow. I'll probably end up staying here until maybe Thursday. Today's Sunday, so I might leave back Thursday. But yeah, man, I just tell you, I was all over the East Coast this past campaign, man, and I got stuck in Virginia like a week and a half ago, man. I went to bed, it was like 31 degrees. I woke up, it was 10 degrees, 6 inches of snow. And I had never seen no snow like that before. So, you know, of course, me trying to drive in it was nerve-wracking. But I did pretty good, man. I got my delivery there on time and everything else. It was a really good thing, man. So I was proud of that. For me to be able to make that trip and deal with that type of weather and, you know, have no problems, man. But then I picked up another load in South Carolina. I took that load to North Carolina, and then I caught my second load. And all these loads is Walmart loads, man. This this last campaign that I was on for these last 3-4 weeks, man, I done had like about 8 deliveries to nothing but Walmart. So I'm good with that, you know. Them deliveries is paying me pretty good, man. I'm having some really good weeks. Really good weeks. You know, the last time I went on home time and came off, I was like $300 in the hole because of my, you know, my normal expenses that come out of my settlement each week. You know, so my first load was like $2,800. So I ended up taking home like $2,400 to pay for those expenses. Still took home $2,400 on that load, and I had 2 more loads behind it. So that was a good week. Ended up being a good week. Like I say, if anything, anywhere from $3,500 and up for me for each week, that's a plus, man. The way I got my stuff budgeted and the way I got my game plan outlined and what I want to make each week. As long as I can double up from what I was making at Walmart every 2 weeks, and I can double up each week to make that, I consider that a good week, you know. So, but yeah, man, let me tell y'all what happened to me, man. I was in South Carolina, and I was at a rest area. I'm fucking parked right here, and a motherfucker still hit my truck trying to get on this curb right here to turn into this parking lot, into this parking space. You know? I seen him coming from down that way pretty fast. So I waited to pull out because he was moving so fast, and he got up on the curb to try to get up on the curb. And if you look, you see his tires, where he's skid at, as he was tearing my truck up. You see the tires, as he was trying to get up on the curb to turn into this parking lot, to this parking space. And being at that rest area, it was kind of tight. It was closed in to a point where truckers couldn't really park in the spaces. So, you know, I'm chilling. I'm sitting in the truck, I'm chilling. And watching, I think I was watching the football game. And all of a sudden I hear a boom, you know, like a boom. Something, my truck shook, boom. And then all of a sudden I hear a bigger boom, boom. And then all of a sudden, like a lot of noise, like shit was scraping. So I jump up and I look, man, and this super trucker. I'm gonna call him a super trucker because he been trucking for 42 years is what he told me. He was an old man, too. He had to be about 80. When I jumped out the truck on him, he had to be about 80. But yeah, man. So I look up and he trying to get into a parking spot that was impossible to get into. He was trying to make his own spot by trying to get on the sidewalk, on the grass, to make a left turn to pull into a parking lot. And by him doing so, he would have been able to do it, but he wasn't paying attention to his trailer, man. And what happened was his trailer scratched the side of my truck up and scratched my mirror up and bent my deer guard and pulled my, broke my hood mirror and all of that, man. I was really irritated about that. You know, I like my truck. I love my truck. And one of the things I was taking pride in was being safe. And I parked in a way to make sure that motherfuckers can see me. I had my lights on, and he still hit me. So I jumped out the truck. Now, I was ready to fight. I ain't even finna lie, man. I'm not a violent person or nothing like that. But that adrenaline was pumping, man, because he tried to keep going. And when I jumped out the truck, I had to kind of sprint up there to him where he was at. And, I hit the horn. And he kept on moving. So I jumped up and kind of went down there and got on the side of his truck, man. And when he jumped out, he was like, "Oh, man, I thought I was on the sidewalk until you hit the horn. I didn't think I was running into you, man. I'm sorry." And he's an older guy, man, older white man. When I seen who he was and how old he was, man, I immediately calmed down and went back into being professional, man, because I was really irritated. And, I didn't know if that was going to be something that was going to go on my record as having an accident, or if it was going to be covered by insurance or nothing, So he jumps down and he says, he gets out of his truck. He's like, "Oh, man." Immediately he starts grabbing all of his paperwork. He was like, I say, "Man, we're going to call the DPS or whoever needs to come. We're going to call the highway patrol or whoever so we can document this shit." I ain't never had no accident in a car as far as being my fault, let alone I ain't had no accident in this truck being my fault. So I really didn't know what steps to take. He was like, "All right, well, we'll call the DPS." And he's like, "I'm going to need your insurance and this and that." And he's like, "I've been driving for 42 years. 42 years. He's like, "You don't even need to be parking right there." I'm like, "Man, come on." I was like, "Everybody park. Look at all the trucks that's in front of me and all of the trucks that's behind me park right here." He's like, "Well, you see how tight it is? How can we get into these spaces? I park here every day and I have to get on the sidewalk and I have to get in the grass in order to make that turn." I was like, "Yeah, but you also got to be paying attention. What the fuck you doing? You can't just decide to jump in the grass and make a turn that's gonna be a little impossible to make, right?" So what he ended up doing, he says, "Well, I've been driving for 42 years, I've been doing this for such a long time, and I didn't know I had hit you. Hey, man, how you doing?" "All right, pretty good." He's like, I didn't know I had hit you, And he goes, "I thought I was on a curve when I felt all that rocking and shaking." I was like, "No, man, that rocking and shaking was you hitting my fucking truck, So we waited for about 15 minutes, man, and the DPS came, and he ended up pulling up and pulling all on the curb to get out the way. And he pulled all up and pulled on the grass and to get out the way or whatever. And we waited about 15 minutes, man, and the DPS came. And the highway patrolman, state trooper or whatever he is, he came. So as soon as he get there, he said, "Are you guys fine with just sharing y'all's information and everything so I don't have to write a report?" And I'm like, "Well, the whole reason you coming because I want you to write a report. We need to document this." He's like, "Sir, I apologize." He's like, "I'm new. I've never did an accident report. I've never did anything. This is one of my first assignments that I've been dispatched to." He was like, "And from my understanding, as long as y'all share information and everything, I wouldn't have to write that report. Now, if I have to write a report, it's going to take a long time because I'm going to have to call my sergeant and he's going to have to walk me through it." And I'm like, "Well, I have to fill out an accident report for my company. As long as I can get your name, number, and everything to put on that report that you did come and show that you were here. And I explained to you when we explained everything to you what happened." So he said, "Well, what happened?" I was like, "Well, shit, I was in here in my truck parked, and you know, the little man that hit me, he just standing there. He just listening. And he says, so what happened? And I say, you know, and I felt a bump. Then I felt a bigger bump, and then I felt the whole side of a trailer just, you know, tearing up the side of my truck. And he goes, so you hit him or he hit you? I was like, I'm parked. This is my truck right here. And the guy goes, I've been driving for 42 years and I ain't never had an accident like this. This is just, don't make sense. I was like, yeah, man, it don't make sense. He's like, you can't park there. I was like, look, man, you keep saying you've been driving for 42 fucking years as a truck driver. You should know if you see a truck parked or any vehicle or a car parked that you can't hit them. You can't hit a parked car. And the officer says, yeah, that's right. And then the little guy goes, yeah, it was my fault. It's all my fault. It was my fault. I park here every day, and you see all of this? And he starts pointing out all of the tire tracks from other trucks getting on the sidewalk and into the grass to get into that spot. You know, it was a little bit irritating because I didn't know what the next steps was. My light was broke. My mirror was broke. So, of course, I had to call road assist. I had to fill out the accident form, macro 38. I had to then make sure that I shared and uploaded pictures of the incident, of his information, his truck, my truck, the damages, and his insurance card and all of that. I had to upload that to my company. You know, that took like another hour to get all of that stuff done. I did send the information to his company via text message. But my problem with the situation is now, am I going to have to get towed? Am I going to have to sit here and wait for somebody to come help and assist me to try to make my truck drivable? So shit, man, what I did is I went to rigging shit up, man. I went, you know, my deer guard was pulled off pretty bad. It was bent to the point to where, you know, you could tell he hit me pretty hard in order to bend that deer guard the way it was bent. And so what I did is I just grabbed it and I just started bending it back and forth, till it broke off. So that was fixed in order for me to be legally driving and to where I wouldn't be a danger to cars or anything. But my problem was my hood mirror. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to cut no cables and no lines and no power to them because my hood mirrors have turn signals in them. So I got out the old electrical tape and I began to piece my mirror back together to make it to where it was gonna be able to stay on my truck long enough for me to get to a safe place. You know, get to somewhere where I can have somebody really officially look at the truck, you know. So I did that, man, and I spent a whole nother hour patching my truck up and had everything to where once my 10-hour reset was going to be done, I was going to be able to get on the road. So I went back to sleep, woke back up the next morning, and I had to take some more pictures in the daylight. So I did that, took some pictures in the daylight, uploaded those pictures also to my company, and I went ahead and finished the load. The next load that I got, I requested to go to the piston terminal, man. If you ain't never been to the piston terminal, that was my first time going to the piston terminal, Piston, Pennsylvania terminal. It's a far, far different terminal than the one in Springfield. Piston, Pennsylvania. This is the first time I've been in this terminal. So here to get some work done on the truck. First time I've been here, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they don't have to stay here. too long, and I'll be able to skedaddle and get on up out of here. A little bit smaller, man, so it's a lot of congestion there from all of the trucks that arrive, and it's just kind of difficult to park and stuff like that. So I stayed there that night, took me a shower, washed my clothes and stuff, stayed there that night, took my 10-hour reset. And the next day I got up and I went and talked to their paint and body shop to kind of get an estimate and see what steps that I needed to do in order to get my truck fixed. And by now, they wasn't gonna be able to do anything to my truck for like 4 days. So I was like, no, I don't want to sit here 4 days, and then once you start working on my truck, it take another 4 or 5 days. I was a little far from Houston. I was in Pennsylvania, and plus I had macho, so it wasn't like I was gonna sit there for 2 weeks, man, and have to get a hotel, stay at a little dorm room or something like that. So I told him, I was like, I went to drive a lineup, and I was like, look, I came here, I was routed here from safety, told me to come over here to see if y'all could help fix my truck. It was gonna take a little bit longer time than I was expecting, so I wanna get a load going to Springfield. And if I can get a load going to Springfield, my truck will be able to make it to Springfield. So immediately, man, the guy went in there, bloop, 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 bloop. He got me a load. The closest he could get me to Springfield was Illinois. And it was like gonna be like maybe like a 160-mile deadhead from that spot to get to Springfield. But I jumped on that load. It was paying like $1,200. I wasn't even tripping, man. I jumped on it. It was $1,200. It wouldn't have been considered a good load, but it was a good load it was a good load, good enough for me to get to where I needed to get to in order to get my truck worked on and looked at. So I jumped on that load. So I got on the road that same morning, probably about an hour and a half later, and I'm probably about 2 hours away from dropping that load off, and I get a phone call from my fleet manager, and he's like, "Hey man, I need your help." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, I need you to do a repower, you know? He's like, "I got a driver, man, his tablet malfunctioned on him, so he's out of drive time, and this load got to be delivered today at 5 p.m. He's like, you're the closest there, and you're the closest one that could possibly get this load to Walmart on time." He's like, "Can you help me out?" He's like, "I'm trying to limp back to the yard. I had an accident." He was like, "Yeah, it's on your way. But if you can help me out, man, I'll take care of you, I'll take care of you down the line." He's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Well, I'm going to send the guy's information, man, and I'm going to need you to drive to where his location is, and what y'all going to do is y'all going to swap trailers. He's going to end up dropping your load off, and you're going to go deliver this load for me today, and then we'll get you another load headed back into Springfield." And I was like, "All right, that's cool, man." So I went and met the guy, man. Shout out to Prime driver that I met. I ain't going to call his name out. But he was so happy, man, that I came and saved his load. And he was excited, man, because he felt bad that he couldn't get the delivery there on time. So I went, we swapped trailers, and I got right back on the load, got that load to Walmart. I was like an hour late, but that wasn't going to be on me. It wasn't my fault, because I had to drive to him a whole hour out of the way to get the load, and then drive back to get the load to the actual 90. So what's up, everybody? Ricochet, man. Hope everybody having a blessed, wonderful, prosperous day. Today is the 12th of January. I'm on my 4th Walmart load this week. I don't know why, but my fleet manager been giving me all Walmart loads, which is good, man. I was late to this one though, but still getting that Walmart money. You know? Y'all see him back there. Still getting this Walmart money. Whoa. But I ended up getting a load there. They took me. I ended up dropping that load, driving to a rest area, stayed the night at the rest area. The next morning I woke up, my fleet manager calls me and he's like, hey, man, I'm just seeing these pictures, man. He's like, I didn't know that your truck was in that, in that shape, man. He's like, you want to get a load, or you just want to go ahead and just deadhead from here to where you at to back to Springfield, to here to Springfield? I'm like, man, at this point, man, I just deadhead, man. It was probably about 400 and something miles. I was like, I just deadhead there, man, because I don't know how long this electrical tape gonna hold up on my mirrors, And then at the same time, I'm thinking about, if I get to Springfield on Friday, Saturday morning, they'll be able to look at my truck and they'll give me some kind of indication of what time frame and how long my truck will be down, Then I can make some decisions on if I want to rent a car and me and Macho come on back to Houston or what. So I ended up getting to Springfield, man. I drove my whole damn clock almost to get to Springfield. I ran into some accidents and stuff like that slowed me down, and my clock kept ticking. When I pulled into Springfield that day, I had 21 minutes left on my drive time for the day. But I made it in that bitch and I parked it. Me and Macho stayed there. I went in, took me a shower, had me a good old steak. And then the next morning I got up, and as I was getting up, man, the guy from Paint Body, he came and knocked on my door. He was like, hey, are you Roderick, right? He's like, man, I seen your claim come across my truck. Across my paper. And I recognized the truck. He's like, you here to get it fixed, right? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, all right, well, good, man. He said, we got all of the paperwork from your, from the insurance and everything like that. He's like, the only thing I won't be able to get you in until Monday, but I should have you back rolling no later than Tuesday evening or Wednesday. And keep in mind, this is a Friday. So I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, man. I'm like, let's do it, He was like, all right, well, cool. And I told him, I say, well, my plan is since you can't get me in there Monday, I'm going to go ahead and rent a car, and I'm going to come home Saturday. I'm going to go home Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'll come back and pick it up on Wednesday. You should be done by then. He was like, yeah, cool. And he let me go get you a card. And he gave me a card. And then the next morning, me and Macho got on the road, man. I went and got me a rental car. Shout out to Prime, too, for the discount on getting the rental car. But I got the rental car, and I drove like 9 hours from Springfield to H-Town. And this is what led me to be here at home today. So I'll be here for probably about 3 or 4 days, which is cool, man. I ain't tripping. I needed to come home anyway, man. I needed to reset. I had been running for about 3 weeks. My plan was to run another 2 weeks before I came home, but I came home 2 weeks early. So I ran 3 weeks and came home, and I'm gonna be home for like 5 days. But it was a good thing though anyway, because I needed to come home to get that mirror, that aftermarket mirror that I had on my hood. There was no way I could get that mirror in Springfield. I probably could have had them ship it there, but it was just easier for me to just pick it up, and I'll take it back with me. Excuse me. Found a quarter. I'll take it back with me when I go, and then they can just put it on and then tax that to the insurance on what I paid for it, so I can get my money back for having to buy a new mirror. Yeah, man. So I had to come to Truck Fit. I had to come and get a mirror, man, a hood mirror. You don't know, my truck is in the shop right now. and I had a guy run into me and smash the side of my truck. So I ended up having to come home while Prime's paint and body fixed all the damage and the scratches and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not tripping on it because that guy's insurance, they already put a check in the mail of $4,800. But yeah, man, this is a truck fit. This is where I got my hood mirrors. And if Prime would have ordered it, it would have took like 2-3 weeks. So since my truck was in the shop and I was coming home while they was working on it, I decided to pick up the mirror, and they just gonna attach the mirror once I get back to Springfield. So, but yeah, man, I just want to shout out to everybody, tell everybody what was going on. Feel good being back at home under these circumstances. The good thing too about this situation too, man, is I got to call one of the ladies that's off in safety on Monday, and the days that I'm down, that driver's company is going to have to pay me for that week. So they're going to take 3 weeks of average pay, and that's what they're going to pay me, which would probably end up still being $3,000-$4,000 for the week. So yeah, man, it's going to all work out. I just wanted to let everybody know what was going on, and until next time, man, Ace deuces.